Everyone. Well, hello again, everyone. Andrew McKeever here, news director at GNAT-TV. We're here for our Friday News Project Live on Facebook, and want to welcome you all back to our program today. Today is Friday, December 4th, and uh, basically, most of the stories, I guess, as you can expect, are pretty much COVID related in one way or another. One or two exceptions, though. We'll get to those in a moment. Um, Earlier this week, I guess it would be on Wednesday, the state on Thursday, the state reported that the day before they had seen a record number of cases reported, 178 new cases from Wednesday. That's a one-day record, and two new deaths reported since then, so that brings the total number to 77. Cases are being reported across the entire state, all 14 counties, but the two leading counties remain Chittenden County and Washington County. Um, Today at the governor's press conference, it's still underway. They reported that the number had dropped a little bit down to 73, reported on December 3rd. Obviously, that's still very high, but not as high as that earlier number. Also, that the positivity rate in testing is creeping up closer to 2%. It had been down in the ones or so for a while. So, whether or not this was a result of Thanksgiving activities and family gatherings that we've been warned about, is basically too early to tell, according to Health Commissioner Dr. Mark Levine. We'll probably have a clear idea about that come next Monday. Or early next week, we'll begin to see whether or not it's a pattern or kind of a one-day surge due to other factors. No way to spin it other than it's continuing to be a real difficult second wave here of the virus, and once again, the governor implored everyone to wear masks, practice social distancing, wash hands, do all the things we know, because the good news, I guess, if you could call it that, is that the vaccines are going to be arriving in Vermont soon. Apparently, the first batch of the Pfizer vaccine could be in Vermont by the middle of December, December 15th or so. The first batches will go to healthcare workers and those in long-term care facilities. Obviously, the most vulnerable would be first in line. Um, it is, however, a two-shot vaccine. You have to go get the first dose, and then three weeks or so later, go back for a second one. And so, much concerned about how the logistics of that are going to work, and will people go back to get that second dose? I guess that's going to be something we'll be following as we get into the vaccine phase of this whole experience. Um, Also, at the governor's press conference today, he announced that because of the fact that the virus rates were still so high, um, you know, relative to the rest of the country, we're still doing very well. But obviously, the numbers are much higher here than they were even just a few months ago. But that school and recreational sports would remain on hold for now while the pandemic's continuing to rage. He also said if you don't have to travel, don't. And if you do, plan to quarantine for 1 to 2 weeks. 2 weeks if 1 week if you get a positive, if you get a PCR test and it comes back negative. Two if you just want to avoid that. And again, avoiding large social gatherings is a key, which of course will become tricky when we get to Christmas. I mean, Thanksgiving was a difficult thing for a lot of folks. Um, Christmas, one can only imagine, will be just as challenging for many people. One of the centerpieces of the press conference today was a presentation by Sarah Squirrel, who's the commissioner of the Vermont Department of Mental Health. Both she and the governor spoke about mental health issues and the toll that the pandemic has been taking on Vermonters, and that help was available from counselors. Down here, there would probably be the United Counseling Service based in Bennington, but there are other services, and they both spoke to not being shamed or stigmatized by the mental struggles that a lot of people are feeling right now as we try to go through and get through to the other side of this pandemic. In addition to that, we're also seeing a rise in opioid cases and overdoses and deaths from opioid abuse. Uh, that probably doesn't come as a tremendous surprise, but so far, um, about 109 Vermonters have died from accidental or unknown opioid doses as of September, according to the latest data from the Vermont Department of Health. 6 of those people were from Bennington County. Um, that does not compare favorably with some of the very recent trends. In 2018, it was 130 altogether. In 2019, that dropped to 111. It had been 110 in 2017, so we're clearly on track to get to very close to that 130 number, sadly. And again, for those people who are struggling with addiction, officials were tried very hard to say, look, help is available. Reach out if you think you need it, and don't be ashamed of that. Just turning to one other note here, sort of related to it. I mean, the whole COVID thing is putting a lot of pressure on schools. Um, and the Floodbrook School in Londonderry went all remote this past week. I haven't seen any announcement yet as to whether or not they're going to be doing that again next week, but it's possible. The reason for that is that they're really running very tight on staff across the board: teachers, bus drivers, substitute teachers, food service people. The staffing situation um, in all schools, not just Floodbrook, is really tight, according to the BRSU superintendent Randy Lowe, who spoke about this at the board meeting the Taconic and Green had on Tuesday. That the last couple of weeks have been very tough, and again, personnel issues are really getting stretched. At the press conference today, Secretary of Education Dan French spoke to this and said that if there are some folks out there who maybe have some teaching experience or would like to be substitute teachers, if you want to step forward and throw put your name in the ring, that would be welcomed. Let's see. Moving on to town meeting in March. I know that seems like a long way off, but I guess it'll be here before we know it. How to hold a floor meeting, the traditional, centerpiece of town meetings, where grassroots democracy flourishes. Obviously, that's going to be kind of tricky, assuming that we're still needing to social distance and wear masks, and even with a vaccine in place, we're not going to be out of the woods by March. So the legislature is looking at a bill to make it legally doable. That enable municipalities to move the date of their 2021 annual town meeting if they want, or to use mail-in Australian ballots for the annual meeting, and for the Secretary of State to permit supplemental election procedures to protect the health and safety of voters and election workers and candidates. A couple of select boards have been it's been up on their agendas, but nothing really firm yet in terms of any towns announcing plans. But stay tuned. I'm sure that's going to be coming along. And one last note, a little more familiar, kind of in a way. A bridge on Route 313 off of Route 313 in West Arlington has been closed. The Benedict Crossing Bridge is going to be closed for the foreseeable future after state inspectors found some major structural issues with the safety of the bridge. And so the select board in Arlington last week voted to close it until further notice. There are a couple of other bridges across the Battenkill along 313 West, one at River Road, and of course the famous one there, that the covered bridge. near the West Arlington Green, and also a third one closer to the New York state line. I guess replacing the bridge is reckoned to will run the town somewhere between $300,000 and $500,000, and that is a sum of money that's not just kind of waiting around, waiting to be spent. So they're going to have to, I guess, save up over time, and so the bridge will be closed until a later date, until the funds have been saved or raised in one way or another. Okay, Christmas is coming. Another what? 3 weeks. So hang in there. That's all for now. Oh, one last other thing. Ski season is also arriving. We did a little news segment about that. Some of the issues that ski areas will be facing, and other folks who work within the industry. Obviously, quarantining is kind of a big question mark. So we'll be watching how that goes. But anyway, again, be safe, be well, be smart about the family gatherings. It's going to be tough with Christmas, but we've got this far. End is in sight. So have a great weekend. Take care. Always see you next Friday.